Welcome to Wanderlust and Wishes, the podcast where we explore the world one destination at a time.
I'm Julie.
And I'm Krystle.
As travel agents with fantastical vacations, we are here to share our passion for travel and help you turn your wanderlust into reality.
From hidden gems to bucket list adventures, join us as we dive into the sights, sounds, and stories of our favorite destinations.
So grab your passport, pack your bags, and let's embark on this journey together. Welcome to episode 30 of Wanderlust and Wishes. Today, we're going to talk about what to pack and what not to pack for your cruise. First, we have a lot of news. And I also just want to give a disclaimer. I had a leak in my house this week, actually Friday. We record on Sundays. So if I come across a little out of it, it's because I am.
You're fine. We all have days.
Yeah. So we have a big list of news. Just as a reminder, we have 4 festivals at Epcot, and we're currently in the International Festival of the Holidays. That's going to run through December 30th. But now we also have dates for Festival of the Arts and for Flower and Garden. Festival of the Arts will run from January 17th through February 24th. And Flower and Garden is going to run from March 5th to June 2nd.
They just announced Flower and Garden, and we've been the last 2 years, and I love how vibrant and bright and just springy, especially after coming from the dead of winter in Ohio.
It's kind of gray in the Midwest.
Yes, it's next on the list. We have the Grand Fiesta Tour is going into refurbishment for a couple months from January 6th to March 15th.
And also another refurbishment reminder that Stormalong Bay at Beach Club and Yacht Club resorts, it's going to be closed for refurbishment between January and June of 2025. This is a really big deal.
Massive.
This is the most favorite pool, the best pool at Walt Disney World at any of their resorts. And so being closed for 6 months of the year for refurbishment, it's kind of a big deal. So just make sure that if you do have plans to go to that resort, that you're aware.
Disney Cruise Line dropped, they're calling it a promotion. It's not really a promotion, but this is the only one I've ever seen as long as I've been an agent. And it's 50% off of your deposit. So normally you pay a 20% deposit. You can get away with paying 10%. But it doesn't change the overall cost of your cruise. I think that confuses a lot of people. You're still paying the same amount of your cruise. You just pay it off, but it's a lower price down to begin with. So this is great if you want to do a Christmas gift. So this goes from deposits on select sailings between June 16th, 2025 through May 31st of 2026. So book from now to March 14th and pay only half the regular deposit with the rest due at time of final payment. Final payment varies a little bit depending on the length of your cruise. So it's not a hard date like Disneyland or World. This is not valid for the new adventure or the Destiny itineraries, though.
Next on the list, the Island Tower at the Polynesian is opening on Tuesday. So it'll be the day before the podcast comes out. It's opening on December 17th. So that's really exciting. If you happen to be in Disney World at this time, definitely go check it out. Go look at the lobby. There's so many really pretty details. It's very Moana themed. So it looks beautiful. I'm excited to be able to see it when we're there next.
Can we sneak away for a couple days and go stay here?
Well, we could go over there at least and look at it in February if we have time.
We might need to do that. Disneyland just basically overnight stopped the use of the virtual queue at Tiana's Bayou Adventure. This was surprise, tomorrow you don't need a virtual queue. But they kind of did the same thing for Haunted Mansion a week or so ago. So there's no more virtual queue at Disneyland, which is great because a lot of people out there don't understand it. So that leaves the only virtual queues around as Guardians of the Galaxy and Tiana's at Walt Disney World, nothing at Disneyland.
Yeah, virtual queues were definitely a new thing for Disneyland. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just a different vibe there or whatever, but it was just not a thing. And so I think Haunted Mansion first. They were the first ones to start using it, and it was very confusing.
Well, so they kind of had it for Rise of the Resistance. I used it when it first opened, but you had to be in the park to do that. And these last ones were like a 7 and a noon. So even the times weren't like exactly what the Walt Disney World ones were.
Yeah.
And it was just strange for what they have out there.
That was the thing. That's what I was remembering, is that normally you have to be in the park with Disneyland for any of that type of thing. And this was different because they did allow you to do it at 7, regardless of whether you were in the park or not. And that was confusing. So something exciting that's coming to Disneyland, their 70th anniversary is coming up next year in 2025. So they're going to start the celebration in May, and it will run through the summer of 2026. I'm thinking we may need to do possibly a separate episode to cover all of the fun things, because they do have a lot of things that they're planning for this celebration. And I think also another thing we need to do is plan a trip out there during the celebration.
For sure.
So that we can experience all of the fun things and report back.
Next on the list, Royal Caribbean announced its first all-inclusive beach club called Royal Beach Club Paradise Island. And this will open in December of 2025. There will be beaches and pools for every vibe across 3 zones, 3 swim-up bars, 7 beach bars, more than 40 cabanas, and all-inclusive day passes will go on sale in spring of 2025.
I also forgot to put in the notes that this is in Nassau, Bahamas.
That's great for Nassau.
Yeah.
They need this.
Yeah. So that's where it's located. And it looks really awesome. The renderings that they've provided, you immediately want to pack your bags and go. It looks really fun. And then last but not least, if anyone is interested in dropping $120,000 on an annual pass, Virgin Voyages released a annual pass option, and you can basically be cruising up to 365 days a year with any of their itineraries in Europe, Mediterranean, Caribbean, anywhere that their ships go. So, like I said, this has a price tag of $120,000, which, if you're able to cruise at any point and you could cruise up to 365 days a year, that is a pretty big price tag.
For those who don't know, Virgin Voyages is also adults only. So if you would just kind of like to escape your kids every weekend, this is a great option.
We have several agents that really, really love Virgin Voyages, and they cannot say enough great things about it. That's definitely something that's kind of on my list as well to experience.
Just a quick ask of you, our listeners, please. We would really love a Christmas present of a review. It would just so help our show. And we want to push it to anybody who has not heard of us yet. So if you could go leave us a review. I may have a collection of things I've picked up at the parks that I may be able to do for a giveaway. I haven't even talked to Julie about this. Throwing it out there. So leave us a review and let us know it was you. And maybe I'll send some stuff your way.
We're also really looking at growth, focusing on growth and getting the podcast out there. So we appreciate any assistance.
And then along the same lines, if you have any show or topic ideas for 2025, shoot us an email or a DM, leave it in a review even. So we're trying to figure out exactly our plan of attack for next year. Let us know.
We're coming up on our 6-month anniversary soon. So we're excited about
already?
That. Yeah. Yeah. At the end of the month, it'll be our 6-month anniversary, I think, unless I can't count. It actually might be. And actually, we may have already met it because we started.
We already did it. It was Thanksgiving.
I was thinking it was December. That's so sad. We didn't even keep up with it, guys. That's time flies when you're having fun, right? So we already passed our 6-month anniversary. So yay, happy anniversary to us. And we can't wait until, to go into 2025. Okay. So are you ready to go into our topic today?
Yes. This is an interesting one. Well, not interesting. It's just fun. And there's as we go through this list, you're going to be like, really? But obviously it's on this list for a reason because someone was stupid, basically.
Wow. Someone did not remember what they should be packed.
Well, like the prohibited list, like those are on there because someone's like, I'm going to sneak this onto a cruise ship.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, the things that are like, absolutely not. Yeah, you're right. Anytime you have any sort of warning on anything, any packaging or any travel, anything like that, it's because someone tried it and did not go well. So we're going to start off with essentials. And I think you can't go, I mean, this one is absolutely tip top, has to be at the number one on your list is to make sure you have all of your cruise documents. That's including passport, the book, not the card, birth certificate if it's kids under 18 that do not have a passport yet. Passport's always better though. Mayor's license if the names do not match.
I have a note about this really quickly. I booked someone who had just gotten married and she's like, I'm going to change my license and my passport and all this stuff. And I was like, how about you wait till after your honeymoon so you don't have to take all this extra documentation and you can just take your old passport. And she's like, oh, that's a good idea. I really don't need to change my name for. And so I was like, please just wait. Don't worry about trying to rush a passport and make sure your license gets here.
So adding onto the list your boarding passes and flight confirmations if you are flying to the port. Another note, if you're traveling without both parents and you have children with you, most cruise lines require that you have a notarized letter or travel consent form signed by the parent that's not present. So just make sure that that's something that's on your list if you happen to travel with your children without both parents.
Yes, and that's even just to get off at port as well. Like if grandma and grandpa have a grandkid in their room, even if mom and dad are on the ship in a different room, you still need that travel consent for them to be taken off the boat with you as the parent. It's a little bit confusing, but that's why you use us.
Yeah. Obviously, you also want to have photocopies or photos of all the important documents and leave copies with family at home in case in case there's an emergency and you need it. Your travel insurance details, and please, if you go on a cruise, please get the travel insurance. Credit cards, you want to notify your bank before you're traveling so that they just realize that it's not someone fraudulently using your card. Having cash on hand for tipping, having, small bills, ones, fives, tens, and then your luggage tags. You have to bring your luggage tags with you, and those are provided by the cruise line, but you want to attach those after you fly just so that they don't get messed up.
A lot of them, you just print them on just like regular copy paper. So, and each cruise line has different sizing. So Amazon does like sell like a clear for Royal Caribbean tag so it doesn't get ripped off if you'd like to go that route. Let's talk clothing. Most cruises, it's cruise casual for like your eating. Each line is a little bit different on what they consider cruise casual, whether you need long pants or not, especially the men. Warm clothes for cool evenings. You might consider a hoodie for windy days up on top. Obviously, if you're going to Alaska, you're going to want your coats and long sleeves and all that. If you are going to Europe, you probably don't want to pack like you're going to the beach. You probably want some more touristy, dressier clothes. Something that is often forgotten are socks and closed-toed shoes, especially for activities on board like ice skating, the rock climbing, go-karting. Go-karting especially, you need closed-toed shoes. If you are doing something like hiking the waterfalls in Jamaica, you're going to need good, sturdy water shoes. You don't want just flip-flops. You might want some shoes to match your formal or themed night outfits. So if you're taking dress slacks, you might want some dress shoes. And to go along with the theme nights, Disney has like a pirate night. Virgin Voyages, they have like a red night. So you don't want to forget those. You might possibly want like a purse or clutch to match that. Do you really want to be taking your beach bag to dinner full of sand?
That would totally be me. I'd totally forget that kind of thing.
Swimwear. I would say at least 2 or 3, if not more. They take up so much. They don't take up very much space. So pack as many as you can. And then a belt. These are often forgotten and they're probably not the easiest to buy on board.
Moving on to accessories. So for your beach bag, obviously, if you're going to an island, if you're going to the Caribbean or, anywhere tropical and you're going to be on an island, you want to have your beach bag with you. Backpack, if you're doing an excursion, just like Krystle mentioned, if you're going hiking and, going to see the waterfalls in Jamaica or just any kind of hiking adventure, you want to have a backpack with you. Lanyards for key cards. Those are really useful so that you don't lose your key card. Refillable water bottle or cup. Door magnets. These are really fun. You can kind of get fun with it and order. Etsy has pretty much any and every type of door magnet that you can think of. They can be themed, but this just helps you locate your room and you can put magnets all over your door. Another thing from a magnetic perspective, magnetic hooks for hanging bags or lanyard. It helps because, the staterooms don't have a ton of space and they do not like you to bring anything that's over the door hangers because they scratch up the doors. You can get those magnetic hooks anywhere. Amazon has a ton of options. Autograph book and Sharpie for Disney cruises because you're going to see Disney characters and interact with them like you do in the parks. And then Ziploc bags. These are like the miracle solution to pretty much about everything. You can use them for ice, for wet swimsuits, leftover snacks, or just keeping your phone dry, when you're out in the water or by the pool. So Ziploc bags for the win.
You don't travel without them. Next on the list is toiletries and medication. It's probably a good idea to get sunscreen and aloe. You can buy it on board, but most of the time you cannot buy anything until you're out of port and international waters. So if you're planning on swimming the first day, you'll probably want it. A lot of places really push the reef safe sunscreen. Yeah. You can just order that on Amazon. You could even order it on Amazon or pick it up at Walgreens once you get to, say, Florida, if that's where your port is. Hand sanitizer is helpful to have, especially after the last couple of years. A lot of the newer ships have implemented hand washing stations for the buffets, but having hand sanitizer is always helpful. Shampoo and conditioner. Royal Caribbean actually doesn't really provide it in most rooms, so it's important to check with each cruise line, but like Disney Cruise Line, they provide shampoo, conditioner, body wash, lotion. They purchased the H2O formula when that brand decided not to do it anymore.
In Disney fan style, everyone lost their minds and complained whenever H2O said they were discontinuing the line, and Disney announced they were not going to have those products anymore. And so they were pretty much forced to buy the formula so they could continue to have those products in their rooms, in the parks, and on the cruise. It's the same thing. It's just
same stuff.
Now it's branded with Disney.
This is a big one at my house. We have 4 contact wears. So if you have your contacts in, you might forget to take your glasses, or if you have your glasses on, you might forget to take your contacts. Make sure you have both. And even if you don't wear your glasses very often, I would still take them in case of irritation, because if you're in the middle of the ocean and you had sand in your eyes, are you going to be blind?
Oh my gosh. I could not I cannot go anywhere without my glasses. So this would be my worst nightmare if I happen to forget them. Luckily, I typically travel on my travel day. I always wear my glasses. So I don't typically forget them, thankfully.
I have almost a couple times because I'll wear my glasses at night and then be like, oh, I'll put those in my bag in the morning after I put my contacts in. And then I'm always like, oh, shoot. Seasickness remedies. So your patches, your relief band, your Dramamine. I would start taking this stuff before, and then your patches are usually good for roughly 70, 72 hours. So if you get a prescription for one, you might want to ask for 3 or 4, not just one patch, just if you're going to be gone for a week. Basic Band-Aids and first aid kit, especially blisters, things like that. Medication, I would bring enough for 1 or 2 extra days because you never know what's going to happen, including over-the-counter options like Tylenol or antacids.
Yeah, because those things are going to cost you $25 per pill on the cruise on the ship.
So. Yes, and so there are an infirmary, a hospital on board, but it is not cheap. It's great to have in a pinch, but it's expensive.
Okay, so tech and gear. You want to make sure, really, anytime you're traveling, but definitely in this situation, you want to have a power bank. If you're on an older ship, you may have to have a long charging cord. So, for example, on the Disney Dream, they don't have outlets on both sides of the bed. I think most of the newer ships are going to have USB, but it's always better to have extra and not have to worry about it. The dual voltage adapter or the European plug adapter is obviously very important for European sailings.
Even in local sailings, a lot of the ships have the dual adapter plug, and there's not a lot of outlets in some of these ships. So if you have your dual adapter, it's like an extra bonus plug.
It's nice. It's just nice to have. And next on the list is a waterproof phone case or camera. I love the waterproof phone cases, so you can take those with you and create videos or pictures or whatever. Those things are the best. They're the bomb.
I don't trust them.
The one that I had that I used at Volcano Bay, that thing was pretty awesome. It was pretty snug. There was no water in there, and it was very easy for me to use. I didn't have any issues with it. And then also, if you happen to be someone that really, you want to make sure you are able to go snorkeling and you have your own gear and you are able to bring it, you can bring your snorkeling gear with you.
If you've been around all, you know that we preach bringing a carry-on. You will leave your bag with the porters and you may not see it until dinner time. So if you have your carry-on, some things to have in it, obviously your passport or birth certificate and photo ID so you can get on the ship. I would actually never leave your passport in your checked baggage ever, ever, ever. Travel insurance cards, medical insurance cards, medications, swimsuit, goggles if you plan to swim, and your sunscreen, credit cards and phone, anything that you're going to need immediately or in that first day. I will say we had a fellow agent who lost her check baggage for the first couple days of her cruise. They couldn't find it. Turns out it was on the ship. So I would put an air tag in your luggage so you can like track it down and be like, it's here somewhere. This is where it's at.
I mean, to be honest, I think air tags on your luggage are a good idea regardless of where you're going, because
yes,
half the time, if they do lose your luggage, when you're flying and they have no idea where it is, at least you will be able to say it. Actually, it's in this airport or it's over here. You'll have that information and you can help them find it faster.
We do not travel without them anymore.
Okay, moving on to what not to pack. These are items that are prohibited, meaning you can't bring them on. It's not a suggestion.
Your bags will go through X-ray and they will take it out of your bag. There's no sneaking this stuff on.
Yeah, they don't really play with this kind of stuff because a lot of these things are based on their security requirements that they have to meet as a cruise line in order to stay in business. So they're not going to allow these things. So first on the list, irons or steamers, they will take those away. Electric heating pads or blankets, oil diffusers, hoverboards, hot plates or blenders. I think those are very self-explanatory why they would not allow those on. Scissors with blades longer than 4 inches. Hard liquor, it must be purchased on board or held by the ship if bought at a port. They do allow wine, and you just kind of have to check to see what you can bring on, but hard liquor is a no. Marijuana or any other illegal substances, fireworks, large fans. Disney will provide a fan upon request if you need one. I know sometimes people need those to sleep, or you just sleep hot and you need a fan. C&D batteries, those are banned. And then I think this again should go without saying, but weapons are not allowed on cruise ships. Regardless of whether you have a concealed weapon permit, it doesn't matter. You need to, leave your weapon. If you have a gun, lock it up in your car or whatever you need to do, but you cannot bring it on the ship. And then also pets are not allowed on cruise ships. Majority of the cruise lines are going to accept service animals, but they're going to want to have appropriate documentation provided. So you cannot just walk up and say it's your service animal. It has to be a certified service animal with documentation for you to be able to bring it on the ship.
Some other things that are prohibited, an extension cord with a surge protector or a fire hazard. So you
Yeah.
cannot bring those. You can bring, think of it as like a glorified brick that has like 3 or 4 USB ports in. That's about as far as they'll let you go. If you have stuff for a CPAP machine, like if you need an extension cord or if you need a bottle warmer for your baby, if there is a medical necessity for it, you cannot bring it, but you can fill out, or we will fill out for you, a medical request, and they have a handful of things on board for medical reasons.
Definitely let us know as soon as possible if there's anything of that nature so that we can make sure that we have a plan and handle that for you.
Just some unnecessary items, towels. All cruise lines provide them. Each line is a little different. Like Royal, you're supposed to check them out. Disney's just kind of a free for all. They'll have them on their islands. They have them all over the ship, so there's no need to like waste space with a beach towel. Snacks. We've talked about this before. If you have like a certain allergy, they're usually pretty good, but everything has to be prepackaged. You can't take fruit on and off because of the whole crossing border situation. And you're also on a ship that is full of food. So if you wanted to, maybe for embarkation day, like when you first get on, but just make sure it's pre-packaged. Blow dryers, they are usually provided. You might have to dig in your bathroom a little bit, but they have certain outlets and certain wattage to use. So don't worry about bringing yours from home. A lot of packing lists we see suggest walkie-talkies. This is very outdated. All your cruise lines have apps now, and that's how you communicate. And you can do that without cellular or Wi-Fi. Computers, unless you absolutely need to work, but you're going on vacation, leave it home. Don't worry about it. We did talk about the over-the-door organizers. Some lines claim it's for safety because the doors aren't like 100% closed or sealed. Some lines claim it's for damage. So just don't bring them. Kids floaties or life vests. Again, the cruise ship will provide them on board and at their island destinations. And then each stateroom also has a set in case of emergencies, but you shouldn't even need to even touch those. Valuable jewelry. I just think this is way too risky. You are going to be around a lot of people. There's some people in and out of your room. You're going to a different country. I just wouldn't risk bringing your heirloom pearls.
I mean, do you really need them? I mean, really?
No.
What's it adding to your vacation? Items to avoid in most cases. Foreign currency. It's only necessary for large tours in cash-heavy regions like Europe. So there's really no reason for you to have to do that exchange. It doesn't make any sense. Drones. You want to check with the cruise line on what their policies are so that it's not confiscated if they do not allow it. Bottle warmers. Krystle just mentioned this. You can generally request it from the ship beforehand that you're going to need it, and they'll be able to get you one. Fishing rods. I don't know why anyone would bring fishing rods.
I could see some dude though, like trying to fish over the side. No, you are so high up. You're not getting a line off the side of the cruise ship.
Or the other thing I could think of is bringing it for like an excursion, but if you wanted to do like a fishing excursion, but that's going to be provided for you. You don't need to bring a fishing rod. And then camouflage clothing. We've also talked about this before. It's prohibited in some countries, so it's just really better to avoid it altogether so that you don't get into a sticky situation.
Yeah, it's so trendy right now that I think a lot of people don't even realize that it's illegal. Just some other random helpful packing tips. Shop smart. Onboard shops don't often open until international waters, like I said. So try to bring your basics to avoid high prices.
Pack light. You can buy most essentials on board if needed. It's going to cost more if you're buying it on board. So I think you just have to weigh what is an essential that you need to bring for yourself versus, I might not need it, so I can just buy it on the ship if I do.
Check with your cruise line to make sure that you do or do not have like a special themed night. Like we said, pirate night, red night. I think someone has a white night, or if there's like a super formal night.
Also, think about the location where you're going and pack based on that location. You're going to pack significantly differently if you're going to the Caribbean versus going to Alaska or going to Europe. So you just need to think through what are the best options for those specific areas and what you're going to need.
And then just always be prepared. So always have your travel documents on you, a little bit of medication, your swimsuit, and your carry-on for easy access. And then just have fun. You'll be good to go. Also, as a reminder, we offer up to $1,000 onboard credit for all of our Disney cruisers. Our agency owners were just on the Treasure, and I want to be on the Treasure so bad.
Yeah, I'm very jealous. They've been sending us videos and like B-roll of the Treasure and all these pictures. I think they posted over 200 pictures.
500 pictures, yeah.
And it is just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, they're all beautiful ships, but one of the things Dan, one of our agency owners, he sent a video specifically of the Kiss Goodnight. It is so awesome. It's Arabian Nights from Aladdin because the main area of the ship has Jasmine and Aladdin.
I think it's because it's so different. A lot of the ships we've talked about before, there's like the similar theming between like the dream and the fantasy. This one has Moana and Coco and a Haunted Mansion and just so many things that aren't anywhere else. So it's very unique.
And Leslie, our other agency owner, she said that in a lot of the renderings of the ship that it looked kind of dark. And she said it's not at all. It's very bright and open and very beautiful.
Cruising is on everybody's list for 2025. So let's get it on the books for you. Just reach out. We'd be happy to get something scheduled for you across any of the cruise lines. Basically, we can do them all. So just let us know.
Thank you so much for listening this week. We can't wait to chat next week. Bye. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Wanderlust and Wishes.
If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform.
And remember, the world is full of wonders waiting to be explored. Until next time, happy travels.
Bye for now.